Oh, hola, mi amigos, mi hermanos, mi hermanas. Welcome. Wait, no. Bienvenidos a la channel. Gracias for being here. Ahora escuchamos Alturas de Machu Picchu by the band Los Jaivas, released in 1981. Listen, I was trying. I was doing the best I could with what I know and with what I got. That's all I can do. Today we are listening a full album listen, I should mention, to the album Alturas de Machu Picchu from the band Los Jaivas, which is, I believe, how you pronounce their name, released in 1981. Like I said, I'm excited to dive into this album. I've had it on my wish list for a long time, and I just decided, you know what? I think now is the right time to go ahead and listen to this album. This one has been suggested as well by a few of you. And if I mispronounce any names or any words throughout this album listen, I'm just putting a disclaimer out there. I probably will, as a matter of fact, I will mispronounce something, so I'm apologizing in advance. However, getting back to those of you who have recommended this specific album or songs from the album, Ivan Gutierrez Rios, Cotro, Thomas Gonzalez Marin, Ocayul, Luis Andres Valdebenito, Canciones de esta noche, songs of the night. I know what I'm reading here. Joaquin Lezcano, Daniel Mora, and there's a few more of you in there as well. So yeah, thank you guys so much for the suggestion. Maisto, you recommend. There's actually a lot of you. Jay Rodriguez, Oscar Peterson. There's Gary. There's a lot. It just goes on from there. So I'm excited to dive in this album. Like I said, I've been wanting to listen to this for a long time, and it just so happens that tonight is the right time. Esta noche. So we're going to go ahead and start off with the first track here on the album, Del Air Al Air. Now, I do see that most of the track, well, as far as I know, every track on here is, I believe, in Spanish. I do have an English translation, so I'll be reading that when I go over the lyrics. But, yeah, let's go ahead and dive into it. Hope you guys are here for it. Settle in, grab a cup of coffee, a cup of tea, a glass of water even, or a nice glass of wine. Whatever you're chilling with tonight, hope that it's going to make you feel good. Hope it's going to make the music that much better. Let's go ahead and dive in. Here we go. Sounds didgeridoo like. Almost. Drums are coming. Next song, La Poderosa Muerte, The Mighty Death. how welcoming this atmosphere is, getting us into this album.
Quiere el hombre en qué parte de su conversación abierta entre los almacenes y los silbidos, en cuál de sus movimientos metálicos vivir lo indestructible, lo imperecedero, la vida.
How good is that? Listen to the unpredictability of those drums. Is that some smoke?
Todos desfallecieron esperando su muerte, su corta muerte diaria y su quebranto aciago de cada día era como una copa negra que bebía el
How cool is this, guys? I like how kind of spooky that synth is, just whistling through the wind. Nice. Lockstep in that rhythm. This guitar solo just scratched itself out. Can you hear the bells hitting at the same time as some of those notes? Yeah, drumming. change.
Entonces en la escala de la tierra he subido. Entonces en la escala de la tierra he subido.
I love how they just chant on top of that rhythm now.
Maraña de las selvas perdidas hasta ti, Machu Picchu. Alta ciudad de piedras escalares, por fin morada del cielo terrestre, lo escondió en las dormidas vestiduras, en ti como dos líneas paralelas, la cuna del relámpago y del hombre se mecían en un viento de espinas, madre de piedra, espuma de los cóndores, alto arrecife de la aurora humana, na, 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 na,
And that piano just bringing everything crashing down.
Cuando la mano de color de arcilla se convirtió en arcilla y cuando los pequeños párpados se cerraron, llenos de ásperos muros, poblados de castillos, y cuando todo el hombre se enredó en su agujero, quedó de exactitud enarbolada el alto sitio de la aurora humana, la más alta vasija que contuvo el silencio, una vida de piedra
That bass playing is
después
really, really
de
nice.
tantas vidas.
That sounds like something Emerson would use. And then some kind of trumpetish sound. Okay. It's about to transition into the next song, but I think that it's appropriate that we talk about this for just a little bit, at least before we get into the next one. Oh, man. How did you guys feel about these two tracks? The first one was really just like a little bit of an instrumental intro for the album for the next track. And then moving into the Big Death, the Mighty Death. Oh, that's it's so tasty. So the first thing I'm noticing is I love their use of traditional instrumentation and then bringing in modern, of course, at this time, instrumentation. So, for example, I don't know exactly what's being used and stuff, but it's not a pan flute, I don't think. I think it's another instrument, but that flute-like sound, that wind instrument that's being played, which I love how it starts off in the beginning in that first track, and then, of course, moves on to the second one. I like how you hear sounds like that. Then you hear some bells. I heard it in the bells are being played at certain notes in the middle of the second song there. And then, of course, you have the foresty sounds that are taking effect. But then you would have like the Moog come in. You would have those synths come in at certain moments, and then near the ending with those kind of horn trumpet sounds. That reminds me of like Emerson and like the stuff that he would use like on his keyboards. So you just have this really nice combination of the traditional and the progressive in a sense, which I think they do a fantastic job of playing to in here. I love the singing, especially in that moment where the rhythm and the melody changes into something a little bit more. Is that staccato? I don't know. But then the chanting jumps on top of that, and it just kind of pushes that momentum forward even more. The bass playing I thought was stunning. The guitar solo in there was wonderful to listen to. The atmosphere that's just born in this music is just so wonderful to listen to. And it's so nice to kind of get into the scenery. Sometimes, well, I would say most of the time, when you sit with an album, you want to sit there with the album and allow the music to take you to a certain place, to make you feel something, whatever that may be. And I just really enjoy the way that the band did that in the first track. Not only introduced us to the scenery, but then fully immersed us into that scenery in that second track there. I think that was absolutely fantastic. You have 5 band members here, and they're each handling a lot. Like looking at the list of the instruments that they play reminds me of looking at Gentle Giant's personnel list with what they play. There's just everyone's kind of doing everything, to be honest. Looking at it, Eduardo Gato Alquinta on the vocals, guitar, bass, classical guitar, and some instruments I actually have not heard of. Kenya and Zaponia. Mario Mutis on singing as well, electric guitar, bass, Kenya, Zaponia. And then you have 2 pianists in here, and then the percussionist, the drummer. They're just all so incredibly talented. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention the piano playing, especially in the beginning of Ponderosa or Poderosa, was magnificently played. I love how those rolls just came in and kind of swept us along, kind of. Like I said, we got introduction to the scenery, and those pianos came in and just kind of swept us along like a gentle river, carrying us down this landscape. I think that was absolutely fantastic. So there's no lyrics on the first track, but the second track, like I said, which translates to Mighty Death. I'm reading the English lyrics here, just translated, so they're not going to be exact, but, it's kind of the best we can do, or at least I can do at this exact moment with this. What we got? What was the man? In what part of his open conversation between the warehouses and the whistles, in which of his metallic movements did the indestructible, the imperishable, the life? Everyone fainted, waiting for his death, his short daily death, and his fateful loss of each day was like a black cup that they drink trembling. Now, I do see here on the Wikipedia page, before we go any further, that this is a concept album. It says that musicalizes the homonymous poem by Chilean poet Pablo Neruda that appeared in his 1950 book Canto General. Prior to its launch, a television special recorded in the ruins of Machu Picchu was presented on Chilean and Peruvian television. That's really cool. Now, that's the way to launch your album. Now, I've never heard of this book or this poem. I'm just looking at it right now. It says Canto General is Pablo Neruda's 10th book of poems. It consists of 15 sections, 231 poems, and more than 1,500 lines. This work attempts to be a history or encyclopedia of the entire American Western Hemisphere or New World from a Hispanic American perspective. So even though I'm not familiar with the poem or the material really in it, we can kind of allow that to help us in this journey. So for example, this is just what I'm imagining, okay? But I feel like I'm probably onto something. At the very end of the Mighty Death, we heard what sounded like bombs, what sounded like cannon fire, which just makes me think of some colonizers coming over to the land and beginning to occupy, which kind of makes sense because the next track here, which it was leading into, definitely translates to American love, which I'm pretty sure is being a little tongue-in-cheek with that. So that's at least what we can imagine, or what I'm guessing that this is kind of going with, that kind of idea. It says here, just going to the lyrics again, High city on scalar stones, at last the abode of the terrestrial. He did not hide in the sleeping garments in you like two parallel lines. The cradle of lightning and man, they swayed in a wind of thorns. Mother of stone, foam of the condors, high reef of the human dawn. When clay-colored hand became clay, and when the small eyelids were closed, like death, I mean, we're still talking about death in this track, full of rough walls, populated with castles, and when all the man got tangled in his hole, the accuracy remained raised. The high place of the human dawn, the highest vessel that contained the silence, a life of stone after so many lives. So I'm really kind of getting the idea, like I said before, especially with where it's going going into the next track there, that we're talking about this occupation, of course, these invaders coming over to the land and what that will bring for the future of this people. Let's move on into that next track, which is, like I said, Amor Americano, which is American Love. Let's dive on in. That's a cutting tone on the guitar. This sounds like something I would kind of hear like when I was in Colombia a little bit.
Sube conmigo a mar americano, besa conmigo las piedras eternas. La plata torrencial de Urubamba hace volar el polen a su copa amarilla. Vuela al vacío de la enredadera, la planta petra la guirnalda dura sobre el silencio del cajón cerrado. Amor, amor, hasta la noche
So
abrupta,
good.
desde el somoro pedernal hacia la aurora de rodillas rojas, contemple el hijo ciego de la nieve.
And the clapping. Now this is so cool.
Oh, Wilcamayo de sonoros hilos, cuando rompes tus truenos lineales en blanca espuma como herida nieve. Cuando tu vendaval acantilado canta y castiga despertando al cielo. ¿Qué idioma traes a la oreja apenas desarraigada de tu espumantina?
See how they take that same rhythm but just change up all the clothing around it? I love how the guitars and the synths are playing on this rhythm, playing on the snares. going.
Amor, amor, no toques la
I love the
frontera,
singing.
mi amor está cabeza sumergida. Deja que el tiempo cubra su estatura en su salón de manantiales rojos. Y entre el agua veloz y las murallas recoge el aire del desfiladero, las paralelas láminas del viento, el canal ciego de las cordilleras. El áspero saludo del rocío y sube flor a flor por la espesura pisando la serpiente despeñada.
It's very like festive, especially in the rhythm and movement there.
Llena mi propio ser al alba día, hasta las soledades coronadas. El reino muerto vive todavía.
This is so cool. So, first of all, the first thing that stands out to me on Amor Dominicano is the rhythm, right? That rhythm, that drum beat, bum, 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 with the snare, bum, da, da, like that kind of march. Like, you would hear that a lot in, like, South America and, like, Hispanic and Latin culture. Like, you hear a lot of music, like, based around that kind of rhythm. And it is just really cool how they've used that rhythm as the heart of the music here, and kind of like what I said, like everything else is just clothing around that. So the guitar playing I thought was fantastic in here, phenomenal. Sometimes blazing notes just with quickness, but other times kind of softening it back a little bit, pulling back. But the mood of the whole track is very festive. It's very happy and warm and celebratory, and then the guitar and the keyboards are kind of always playing right along with that rhythm. So that this wouldn't sound out of place like anywhere, really. Like you could hear this, I mean, maybe it's me, I could hear this being played at a party. You know, like I could hear this being played at like anywhere. It's a car ride over the hillside. This is just so cool. And then once again, I really love the singing in here. His voice is fantastic. I like the emotions that it captures. I like how it motivates, it inspires, it feels good listening to it. And the bass playing, once again, I mean, everything in here, let's be honest, everything in here is played extremely well. Come up with me, American love, kiss the secret stones with me. The torrential silver of the Urubamba makes the pollen fly to its yellow cup. The emptiness of the creeper flies, the stone plant the hard garland over the silence of the mountain drawer. Love, love until the abrupt night from the sonorous Andean flint. Towards the dawn of red knees, contemplate the blind sun of the snow. Oh, I'm going to mess up a lot of names. Oh, Welcomayu of sonorous threads, when you break your linear thunders in white foam like wounded snow. When your cliff gale sings and punishes, awaking the sky, what language do you bring to your ear barely uprooted from your Indian foam? So, I feel like this song, and perhaps, I think, the lyrics, are kind of like an ode to Chile, an ode to the landscape, to the country, to the beauty of it. Of course, the band being from there. I feel like this is their song kind of exemplifying the beauty of Chile and the land there. And with it being American love, and of course the way that the ships seem to have arrived previously, I think that this is basically saying, like, I mean, it says here that, actually, if I go on a little bit, love, love, do not touch the border, nor worship the submerged head. Let time fill its stature in its hall of broken springs, and between the swift water and the walls. I don't know, but I'm kind of feeling like this is like, okay, we're being invaded, things are changing, but this is almost like a plea to the invaders, the captors, like, don't destroy our land, don't ruin what we have. Look at the beauty here. You don't want to ruin this, you know? At least that, I really could be 100 and 1,000% wrong, but that's at least what I'm kind of thinking. It says that on this one, after the musical complexity of the previous song, this one takes on Hispanic folklore rhythms alongside the classic Jaivas sound heard on some of their most famous albums. The lyrics are extracted from part 8 of the poem, which has been analyzed as an invitation for the reader to appreciate American culture of past and present and Machu Picchu. So, I'm not exactly right. I'm not really close. Let's go ahead and move on here into the next track here, which is actually going to be opening up side 2 of the album. And that's going to be Aguilla Sideral, which, let me get that translation there for you. Give me one moment. It means Sideral eagle. So I believe it's a type of eagle then. Let's go ahead and give it a listen. Here we go. Trying to count it out when that snare comes in. That beat, like it's different, huh? Listen to this atmosphere here. It's a cool effect on his voice there. Bass. You guys tell me what you think. You please, by all means, let me know what you think. But at this exact moment, that's my favorite track on the album. Let me just close this window a little bit. I don't want people sneaking looks in here at night. Listen, that's my favorite track on the album so far. The build up from beginning till first quarter is so gracefully handled. I love the way that snare comes in. It has so much echo on it. It just bounces off the walls, right? And first of all, the way and the rhythm that it comes in at. I was sitting there trying to count it, and it comes in, I don't even know, at 11 or something. I could be way off, but it's such an odd place. And then the drums build up, the kick starts to begin, and you're like, okay, there's the rhythm. Where does that snare place? It's still like way in the back, and then it starts all over. So like it was just so interesting the way that was done. The singing when it came in had this very interesting kind of filter-ish sound on it. I don't even know, but it was almost like processed a very specific way, and it was like, yeah, like. And then it was kind of like, not robotic, but just very, very coolly done. Just awesome. Getting back to the beginning build-up, the bass, with the atmosphere that's being built up, I'm not sure what instrument's being used to make that atmospheric sound in the beginning, but then the bass, the way that groove just kind of came in, kind of led the charge. You guys know, I love a bass-led charge. Okay, you give me a little atmosphere, give me a little bass groove to go along with it. I'm in a happy place. I'm in a great place, matter of fact. And the way they did that was superb. Once again, the piano coming in, just like light touching the grass on the plains. Like the sun coming out and shining over the hillside. I mean, it's golden hour, baby. I can't praise this track enough. It is sensational. It is a thing of wonder. And I'm very, very... I mean, this is a high mark on the album. The album was already hitting high marks, but this is a real high mark. And I'm not saying I don't think the rest of the tracks will reach this beauty. How would I know? But I'm just saying this one hit a certain spot for me personally. Let's get into these lyrics here. Sidereal Eagle, Vine of Mist, Lost Bastion, Blind Scimitar. I know that's a sword. I just didn't know how to say that. Sidereal Eagle, Starry Belt, Solemn Bread, Mineral Serpent, Stone Rose, Essential Mountain Range, Sea Roof Dome, Of Silence, Pure Homeland, Bouquet of Salt, Black Winged Cherry Tree, Silver Wave, Direction of Time, Sidereal Eagle, Andean Snake, Quartz Moon, Bride of the Sea. So I'm really just thinking once again this is an ode to perhaps this eagle, probably a bird of prey that is notable in Chile. And once again, this is just kind of paying poetry and not honor necessarily, but kind of bringing an artistic light to this particular animal. And I do see, because I'm Googling this right now, I do see that this is literally the poem from Pablo Neruda, because I'm looking at the poem right now. The poem is translated as follows, which actually, literally, the first lines are the lyrics of the song. So actually, we don't need to read it because it's the same things that are there. But it is a really cool poem. Just kind of glancing over it, like hands of puma, sanguinary rock, shade-giving tower, discussion of snow, night upraised in fingers and roots, window of the mist, hardened dove, nocturnal plant, statue of thunders, essential mountain range, marine roof, architecture of lost eagles, twine of the sky, bee of the heights. Honestly, just reading the poem, that sounds lovely. That sounds really, really, really beautiful. Kind of makes me want to read some poetry again. Anyways, let's go ahead and move on into the next track here, which translated is going to be, hold on. The literal track is Antigua America, which I'm assuming just means like Antique America or Old America? Ancient America. I was close. Ancient America. Okay, let's go. Wrong. I love how this rhythm began. Very organic. That's heavy. That was such a heavy moment to bring in amongst this piano. And some harpsichord now? You heard how that thumped in?
Tierra en la piedra el hombre donde estuvo. Aire en el aire el hombre donde estuvo. Tiempo en el tiempo el hombre donde
So dramatic. This track was an adventure. Let me turn my volume up. This track was an adventure on this one. The piano playing once again is just like out of this world. The piano's leading. Listen, if the bass started the charge on the previous track, then I think it's safe to say that the piano is leading the charge here pretty much throughout. Obviously, everyone else is involved, but just, and once again, let me use names here. Let me get back here just so we can do that. I can't say who's doing what exactly, but once again, it is Eduardo Para Pizarro on piano, and then Claudio Para also on piano. And then you have the harpsichord that comes in, adding a little bit of a classical touch. What I was saying was pan flute, by the way, is actually called, hold on, let me make sure I pronounce this right, Zamponia, the Zamponia, or a siku, which is a traditional Andean panpipe. So that's what I thought was like pan flute in there. And then what I said was, or it sounded like flute, is actually called the Kenya, which is, once again, a traditional flute there. So kind of like what I said at the very beginning, the bringing together of these instruments, the traditional with the progressive, I think is a really awesome touch that they pretty much succeed in at every turn. The drumming here from Gabriel Para was so fun to listen to. I like how, like, it starts off soft, like kind of like not really there, but then when the beat comes in, it comes in this kind of unexpected way, and it continually plays in something kind of unconventional. And even when it does move into something more conventional, there's always something very interesting going on, whether it's those very quick snare hits or him occasionally adding in those hi-hats, like extra ones, like, or playing around with the rhythm as a whole. Why not? Toss it all up and see what falls down. But that is all just so fun to listen to. And then we round it all out with that really nice guitar solo. How can you be mad at it? You can't. You can't. The lyrics here are really short. There's only a little bit of featured singing here. Stone in the stone, the man, where is he? Air in the air, man, where has he been? Time in time, the man, where was he? So I'm kind of looking at this as stone in stone. I'm thinking literally of Machu Picchu, but it could be about mountains, could be about the earth, about the land in general. Air, time, all these things that are eternal. These are things that do not change, do not leave. They will always be there. But man will come and go. The stones will remain, air will remain, time will remain, but man will come and go. I'm kind of assuming that idea taken specifically, of course, to this specific land here. Once again, that is awesome. And before we move on to the next two tracks, because I'm going to take the next two together, because it's 4 minutes and 2 minutes, basically. So I might as well just toss them in there together to finish out the album. Just looking at some of the liner notes, basically, for this particular album. It says that, let's see, during their stay in France, they dedicated themselves to managing concerts in order to survive. In Buenos Aires, they had met the Peruvian producer Daniel Camino Diaz-Canseco, who had also arrived in Paris. Daniel proposed that they make a concept album that musicalizes, of course, the poem here. Las Jaivas initially refused. In response, Camino told them that, I'm going to Peru, but I'm going to be in Madrid for a month or so. If you change your mind, here's the phone number you can call. So obviously that did come through and that did work out. It was recorded with French sound engineer Dominique Strabac before going to the U.S. It served as the basis to begin the creation of this album. We already talked about this part. He says the album was recorded in Paris during their tours during 3 months. Of course, this album features a lot of instruments. During the recording for La Poderosa Muerte, he lost his voice completely, and following the advice of a singer friend of the band, they called a practitioner from the Boulogne sector in the suburbs of Paris, where he was recording the song. With his help and the effects of the intravenous injection of sulfur, Al Quinta managed to recover his voice and sing the song. I have never heard of that. Is that a thing? Injecting sulfur and it helped his voice and helped him recover? I have never heard of that. That just doesn't sound good. But I guess whatever works, huh? Anyways, let's move on into the final two tracks of the album here, which are, first one is entitled Climb Up to Born With Me, Brother. Or I'm assuming Climb Up to Be Born With Me, Brother, maybe. And then the last one is just called Final. Let's go. There's that rhythm again, see? Horns too.
de tu dolor diseminado. No
tickling
del fondo de las rocas, no volverás del tiempo subterráneo, no volverá tu voz endurecida, no volverán tus ojos taladrados. Sube a nacer contigo, hermano. Mírame desde el fondo de la tierra, labrador, tejedor, pastor callado, tomador de guanacos tutelares, albañil del andamio desafiado, aguador de las lágrimas andinas, joyero de los dedos machacados, agricultor temblando en la semilla, alfarero en tu greda derramado. Tráeme la copa de esta nueva vida, pues los viejos dolores enterrados. Sube a nacer conmigo, hermano. Mostradme vuestra sangre y vuestro surco, decidme. Aquí fui castigado, porque la joya no brilló, o la tierra no entregó a tiempo la piedra o el grano. Señaladme la piedra en que caísteis y la madera en que os crucificaron. Encendedme los viejos pedernales, las viejas lámparas, los látigos pegados, a través de los siglos en las llagas y las hachas de brillo ensangrentado. Yo vengo a hablar por vuestra boca muerta. Contadme todo, cadena, cadena, eslabón a eslabón, paso a paso, afilad los cuchillos que guardasteis, ponedlos en mi pecho y en mi mano, como un río de rayos amarillos, como un río de tigres enterrados, y dejadme llorar horas, días, años, edades ciegas, siglos enterados.
Second best track. No doubt. Second best track. I'm going to let it go on to the next one final, but we got a number 2. We have a number 2.
Dadme el silencio, el agua, la esperanza. Dadme la lucha, el hierro, los volcanes. Apegadme los cuerpos como imanes. Acudid a mis venas y a mi boca. Hablad por mis palabras y mis
Always that final piano note. Always that last dark note at the very end of the album. And just like that, we have traveled to Machu Picchu. We have learned the history. We have interpreted what we could. But it was a fantastic journey. So, the last track here that we just listened to, was an excellent conclusion with the rolling piano, the soft sung harmonies, bare bones, leaving it as it is, everything on the table. But the previous track, number 2, that is immediately my second favorite. Let's put them line in line. Line in line. Maybe my favorite track, who knows? But bringing back that fun rhythm that just makes you move. You can't not move listening to that. And not only is the clothing adorned around that rhythm, the heart, like I said before, but the clothing is good. Like this, I don't even know any like high-end brands. I can't even like Versace. Is that like one? Yeah, right? Like that's high-end. Let me move back really quick, just briefly, if you'll indulge me for a moment. Okay. The back and forth between solo singing, the harmonies there. Once again, that rhythm that just makes you want to stomp your feet. The clapping comes in. I can't even do the rhythm, but whatever the rhythm was, right? Then, in the midst of all that wonderfulness, you, of course, have the piano, which is just glorious to listen to. You have that guitar solo, which is fantastic. Then, later on, you have another solo. I want to say synth. Like, it's just... I don't know, that's just such a fun track to listen to. And let me go back to the lyrics on that one, too. Let me get back up there. So, like I said, let me translate it again here. Translated is climb up to be born with me, or to born with me, brother. So, like, think of the inspiration, the motivation you're hearing in the track, that energy, that bringing up. At least that's what I kind of see, like that bringing up. And that inspiration, like, come up with me, brother. Now, I don't know a lot about Machu Picchu. Matter of fact, I don't really know anything about it besides seeing it, not literally seeing it, not in real life, but like seeing it, and that kind of thing. I don't really know the history of it at all, to be honest. But that's what I'm kind of imagining, of course, that being the album name, basically. But even with this track, Come Up With Me, where are we going to be born? We're going to be born here. This is our civilization. This is our history. And with this and through this, you will be born in a certain way, you know? Like, not literally born, but born again, in a way. Give me your hand from the deep area of your pain spread. You will not return from the bottom of the rocks. You will not return of underground time. Will not return your hardened voice. They will not return your pierced eyes. Come up to be born with me, brother. Look at me from the depths of earth. Farmer, weaver, quiet shepherd. Tamer of tutelary guanacos. Bricklayer of the challenge scaffolding. So that little moment right there where it says, look at me. I feel like that is actually from the point of view of perhaps Machu Picchu. This is just, I think. And it's basically saying it's alliteration. Like, no matter where you come from, you could be a farmer, you could be a weaver, you could be this or that. You can all look up to me and be reminded of your culture, your history, have pride in yourself. Look, like that kind of feeling, that pride in your history. Waterer of the Andean tears, jewelry box of crushed fingers, farmer trembling in the seed, potter in your spilled clay. Even in your lowest and at your downest, you can look up with inspiration and hope. Bring to the cup of this new life your old buried pains. Come up to be born with me, brother. See? So, like, I really like that. I think the lyrics are really fantastic here. Tell me all chain by chain, link by link, step by step. Sharpen the knives that you kept. Put them in my chest and in my hand like a river of yellow rays, like a river of buried tigers, and let me cry. Blind ages, stellar centuries. It says here that the lyrics on this part here, it says, Neruda invites both the dead civilization and the forgotten people to rise up from the ashes and decide their own destiny. All right, so I'm not really that close. And then on the final lyrics here, let me translate that really quick as well. Here we have, give me silence, water, hope. Give me the fight, the iron, the volcanoes. Turn off my bodies like magnets. Go to my veins and my mouth. Speak through my words and my blood. So, let me read that again. Give me silence, water, hope. Give me the fight. Give me, like, asking, give me this. Give me the power. Give me the strength to speak these words, to say this history, share this history. It may not always be fun. It may not always be pleasant. Sometimes it's going to be bloody. There's going to be violence involved. But give me the power to share this history and our culture with others. That's what I kind of think. Let's see on this one. It says the lyrics are the last few verses of the entire poem. In these verses, Neruda asks for the might to find this hidden civilization and to tell the stories about it. All right, so I'm 50-50 on that one. All right, I'm 50-50. I wasn't that close. I was 50-50. I'll take it. Anyways, this was a fantastic album to listen to. My favorites are definitely, like I said, Aguilla Cerebral and Sube a Nacer Conmigo Hermano. Listen, I know that I've mispronounced at least 70% of the words that I've spoken. However, sometimes you just need to speak. You may not always speak right, but you just need to try and speak. And I hope that you guys enjoyed listening to the album alongside with me. Once again, I don't hope that you enjoyed it. I want you to enjoy it. But thank you. Thank you for the suggestion. Thank you for leading me to these particular waters, because I like to explore a little bit of everything every once in a while, you know? Kind of get away from the norm a little bit. So anyways, let me know your thoughts on the album in the comments down below. You can follow me over on Twitter. You can support the channel if you'd like on Patreon. You don't have to, but press that like button, especially if you're right here in this moment. Just press the like button. You might as well get it out the way, right? Hey, have a great rest of your night, guys, and I will talk to you later. Buenas noches.